Do you find yourself stressing out about social media and marketing and all the things? Of course you do, because you are not alone. I myself do the exact same thing, and this is part of my business. It's what I do, and I still get stressed about it. And so today is an episode that you are definitely going to want to grab a pen and paper for. I have got Safia, and she is going to talk to us all about what you need to know going into 2026 for social media and marketing. And with that being said, if you have not joined our group coaching community, you must join before February because she is doing our guest expert workshop in February inside of the group coaching community on paid ads and how you can use them for your local service-based business. This is definitely a workshop you are going to want to be there for. And if you are listening to this after February of 2026, I have a replay vault. So every single workshop and group coaching session we have ever done inside of the group coaching community is there at your fingertips for you to go back and binge. It's its own entirely different podcast at this point. It has more episodes in it than the podcast does. Every month, I bring in a guest expert to teach us something specifically for us as professional organizers and local service based entrepreneurs. So, if you have not joined us, make sure to come do that. If you get a chance, go give me a 5-star review on whatever platform you are listening to this on, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. I'm so excited to jump into this episode, so let's get to it. I'm Samantha Brown, professional organizer, decluttering specialist, and business coach. I created Pro Organizers Coach podcast to empower you to reach new heights in your business. I am on a mission to build a supportive sisterhood of passionate professional organizers. So whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just getting started, this podcast is for you. Hey friend, welcome back to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. I am so excited for today's episode and what we're going to talk about. It's all the goodness of social media and marketing and all the things that we hate to love to have to do and, all the stuff, right? And so Safia is with me today. She's going to tell you a little bit about who she is and what she does, but we are going to talk about what you need to know going into 2026. I cannot believe we're already going into 2026. What you need to know, what's changing, what's going to be different. And I think this is a huge conversation to have to help you all know what's coming, but to also take some of the pressure off of the pressure we sometimes put on ourselves as entrepreneurs. So thank you so much, Safia, for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Okay, so tell everyone real quick a little bit about you, and then we'll dive right in.
Yeah, so I'm Sattaur. I am a business marketing and sales coach. I've been doing this for over 10 plus years now. My specialty is working with women in business, whether you're a service-based business, whether you're an online brand. I help women across multiple businesses start, grow, and then scale your businesses to 6 or multiple 6, sometimes even 7 figures. Quick little spiel. We do social media, but we also specialize in paid ads and traffic. And in today's world, I feel like we need both in order to build sustainably successful businesses.
It's definitely going that way, in my opinion, as well. Okay, great. So tell me a little bit about from what you're seeing, because obviously you do this on a daily basis.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what is it that you think is going to shift or that we're moving towards in 2026?
So post-COVID, right, the social media landscape was like inundated with everybody starting businesses, starting online brands. Even with influencer marketing, we've seen I don't even know what the right word is, but such an infiltration of people into the social media landscape. And while I run social media agency, while I teach, preach, do social media, I will say that I have a love-hate relationship with social. And so the thing is, a lot of my clients do as well. Like, they know they need to be on social, but they don't want to be there 24/7. But what we've seen over the past few years is that was what was required of you. Like social media, these platforms rewarded you for posting more, for the more followers you have, the more views you have, the more content you push out, right? So what happened over the course of the past few years is like the brands, the businesses, the accounts that were pushing out more, those platforms rewarded those more. So you got
Mm-hmm.
more growth, you got more visibility, and that little dopamine hit that you get as a business owner, oh, more followers, oh, more likes, oh, more whatever, that became the thing to chase. And I think, unfortunately, that became sort of the bar to set for so many business owners, which is like, I have to have this amount of views, or I have to go viral, or my content needs to have, X, Y, or Z like trends in it and things like that in order to keep up with the Joneses, in order to stay relevant. And that's just not sustainable.
Mm-mm.
Most of the women that I work with are moms, are wives. Some of them have other jobs, they have their caretakers, and in as much as we realize social media is, you need it for marketing, you need it for business in today's economy, it's also, we just don't have the bandwidth or the time to dedicate to that amount of time on these platforms, right? And so, to answer your question, what I'm seeing is culturally overall, a lot of people shifting away and wanting to unplug from that, which I think is
Mm-hmm.
great, because what we're gonna see shift, we've already started to see it shift, but I think in 2026, what we're gonna see is more of community building. So before, like I said, it was a lot of, how do I increase my followers? How do I gain more followers? How do I grow, grow, grow? And I think what we're going to see more in 2026 is, okay, cool. How am I nurturing my existing followers? How am I cultivating a sense of community with my existing followers? How am I making the people that are sitting in my feed and my follower account right now feel like they're not just a number, you know? And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be a huge shift we're going to see. And I've always believed that that is like, that connection is what always leads to sales. And that's why I think so many people are like, I've got X amount of followers, but the bank account doesn't match it, right? Because the focus was in the wrong place.
A
That's a
thousand
long
percent.
winded answer to your
No,
question.
I love it. I love it. It's so I agree with you 1,000% because just from what I've seen, from what I do, I've started my own organizing business, so I had to have social media for that, and then now I have a podcast, and I have to have social media for that. And I am not a social media expert by any stretch of the word. It gets on my nerves, like all the things, right? But again, it's a necessary kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, specifically for my organizing business, what I found that helps me take the pressure off is I look at it as like a portfolio,
Mm-hmm.
and not just a portfolio of like, here's what I can do for you for the people that follow me or that come to my platforms, but also a portfolio of like, who am I? Why should you trust me? Why, here. So it's a little bit of like, here's what I've done. Here's how I can help you, but also get to know me some. And like, just that portfolio of like, who am I as a business and how am I going to help you as you come find me, right? And so for me, growing my stuff, that always helped me take the pressure off of
Mm-hmm.
chasing the numbers, because anytime I start looking at the numbers, I start getting stressed, I start getting worried, the content becomes horrible, or then I just don't post at all because I'm so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And it's like finding that balance that works for you of like, hey, let me be authentic. Let me be who I am. And like, let me, like, if you enjoy social media, great. If you want to post 10 times a week, fantastic. But if you don't and you don't have the time for it, be okay with that too. And just be very intentional about what you're posting.
100%. And, the part about being authentic and being who you are, I would even argue that that has become increasingly difficult for people on social, because you see something else working for someone and you so badly want that similar result as a business owner specifically, right? Like, we didn't just start our businesses to just have a business. A part of it is to be able to create financial freedom as well, right? To be able to supplement your income or create full-time income from your business. And when you see other people in your space having a certain level of results, you try to, it's human nature, right? You want to replicate that. You want to study that. You want to figure out how I can do the same. And I would say that in that process, a lot of women have actually disconnected from who their authentic selves are and their authentic voice, because it's like, well, maybe I need to like, dance like this, or create content like this, or do things that just because I need to stay relevant and need to stay in the algorithm. And it's to their detriment, because what do we know is that people buy from people, right? And
Mhm.
ultimately, when you show up as your authentic self, even though it might not get the best metrics, those are the people that are actually going to stick around because you've connected with them. They felt something with you, right? It's
Mhm.
very easy to double tap. It's very easy to do that. We do that a million times a day when you're scrolling. But to win credibility, to earn trust, to build that connection, that only and ever comes when you show up as your true self, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, and even with the podcast, like, I constantly have to remind myself, because I've started putting the podcast on YouTube, the video part, because I had all this content. I was like, well, let me just put it on YouTube. The goal was never to have a YouTube channel. That was never the goal. But between YouTube and the podcast, either one, when someone takes the time to like give me a comment or, give me, I mean, any of that, like, I am so thankful that
Yeah.
they took the time to be like, "Oh, I really resonated with this." And, like, more so than, like you said, just hitting the hard, or the likes are great
Mhm.
too, don't get me wrong, but I think that for me, I believe very much in, like, quality over quantity, and I've always felt that way. I personally know of someone that has a podcast. They've had a podcast that's been running longer than mine, that has been, had probably 6 times the amount of downloads that mine has,
Mhm.
and they've not made a dime from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, you can get the numbers if you want them, but like you said, we have to look at our personal goal for our business or for whatever it is that we're doing, and make sure that we are kind of tailoring that to what it is that we're going after versus just, oh, here, I'm doing a dance and I got a bunch of TikTok likes. Great. Are any of those people potential clients? Do they even live in your area?
Exactly. So I'll give you a quick example of a client that came to me about a year ago, and she had by the way, my clients, they hire me and they stay for years. But she had a significant following, and she was constantly putting out content, but the output wasn't matching the input, right? And so when she came to me, that was the biggest problem to solve, which is I have an audience. They're liking the things I'm putting out. I'm putting out content consistently, but when I look at my sales, it's not reflecting that. And anytime and in my sales, which are coming from organic, as soon as I pause or I take my foot off the gas for a little bit, my sales dry up. And that's
Mm,
just not sustainable. Again, this comes back
mm-mm.
to the conversation I said earlier, which is how the algorithms will reward you for just constantly being on. And that's why I love having this hybrid marketing strategy of having a paid ad budget in place, or some sort of a paid ad strategy along with your organic. Because to your point, you look at the organic as just sort of people come in, they get to know you, and you need that, right?
Mhm.
Because when you think about it, there's billions of people in this world, and there's tons of cold eyes potentially on your social media accounts every day if done right. And that's great, but that's not always predictable. And with a paid strategy now, you can be very smart and very intentional with your marketing, and you couple them both. Now it's like, okay, now you've got this strategy working in the background of your business. So even if you took a pause, even if you took a break, even if you didn't show up for a week or two, your sales doesn't stop. And I think the biggest advantage of that is, yes, the sales are great, but it's the sort of like peace it gives you in your body to not feel like, oh my God, I have to like post today. What am I going to post to my stories? What am I going to write in my content? And it's like, that is so not good for our nervous systems as women, or men
Mm-mm.
as well, right? But the freedom and the peace that it gives you to be like, I have systems that are working, and I can breathe. I can go live my life. I can hang out with my kids and be present if I need to, right? Because I've put systems in place that's working 24/7 for me so that I didn't have to.
like to your point, systems, right? Like
Yeah.
for each industry, it's going to be different. As professional organizers, most of us obviously are going for a very local market because they need to be
Yeah.
within like a 30-minute driving,
Correct.
distance from us. And so I have found personally that Google, like to the point where my women in my group coaching community get almost annoyed at me because they'll be like, "Oh, things aren't working," and then they always are like, "I haven't fed Google yet," or "I haven't done what I should do in Google," because they know that's going to be my first question, right? Like, have you been taking care of your Google and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
But what my point in saying that is having those systems that give you peace, having the systems that work for you that take the pressure away,
Yeah.
whether that's content batching, whether that's, putting the same exact post on Facebook, Instagram, and Google, like
Yeah.
whatever it is that you need to do to be like, hey, this is what works for me
Yeah.
and helps me have peace, whatever that is, create a system out of that thing and be consistent with it. When you have a system that you're consistent with that gives you peace, the rest of it will follow and the rest of it will come the way it's meant to.
Preach. 1,000%. I could not agree with you more. 100. Yeah, that's exactly it, right? It's like one of the things I always say is like build systems early, build systems fast. You don't need to have this big, like, like complicated business with a huge team and all that stuff. Your systems, like you said, could literally be I'm batching on Tuesday. My system could be I'm sure in our homes, and especially as organizers, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
audience, you have systems, okay, these drawers are for these things and this color codes. It's the same mindset you have to apply to your business. It's like these days are for this system is for that. And the thing is with systems is that this is what gives you that freedom. This is what allows you to be able to pause from time to time because things are in place. And also the piece behind knowing, okay, if I don't get it done or it doesn't work out exactly the way I wanted to, I know exactly where I can go back to and point to where my system is, where my gaps are in that system. If you don't have that, you're kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall every single week, right?
And being stressed out while doing so
Yes,
because
exactly.
you
Can you
have no
imagine?
clue. Yeah, constantly, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a never ending like hamster wheel when you don't have systems. And I think especially I know I did in the beginning, I would overcomplicate the word systems. I would be like, "Oh my gosh, okay, so a system needs to be like a marketing funnel." And like I would go to all because I listened to all the podcasts. So then
Yeah.
all the voices would almost blend together. And before I knew it, I was like confusing myself. And honestly, like the more simple we can keep it, the more that we can figure out the most basic system that works for us.
Yeah.
Do that. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to do all these other fancy things to have a successful business. You just have to have systems.
Right. And I would say like your systems will can be as simple or as complex as your business is. Your systems
Mhm.
will grow. They will create different arms and different laterals as the more advanced your business becomes. But I think that's like a common thing with a lot of women as well, which is like I need to have all of my ducks in a row and I
Mhm.
have to build it perfectly and I have to have like everything set like for me sometimes for me, I'm like, okay, I want to organize my drawers, my kitchen drawers. This is to your women here. And I'm like, okay, but I need this and I need the organizers and I need all this stuff for the pans and I need everything all at once. And I'm just going to shop for everything all at once. And then I'm going to see what I need and what I don't need when I come back home and I'm going to do an audit. And so I bought everything. And so far, I've only used like two, like maybe three of the things that I bought. Not that I don't need it, but in the moment, you think you need it all when really I just need to like declutter so that I'm not overwhelmed when I open that drawer. And then I can deal with the pantry and then I can deal with the closets and I can deal with everything else when I have the bandwidth to, right? But
Yes.
we so get caught up in that cycle of thinking we need more than we need. And I think to your point, keeping it simple, as your business evolves, your systems will by default evolve. At least they should be evolving as your business evolves.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I think that this, because we kind of wanted to touch too, real quickly, I think this also goes into survival mode. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because I know for a lot of us as business owners, especially organizers, and especially those that are just in the first year of starting their business, there's this period of time that you go through, or even if you've been an organizer for a few years but you aren't to the point of consistent clients, like out a month or anything, at the beginning of each week, sometimes you have openings that week, like you don't know if someone's gonna, and then someone might come in. It's very ebb and flowy as an organizer, because people don't need you until they need you. Right,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden 10 people may need you within the same week or two, and then it's just this like constant kind of stressful situation anyways, because you don't have you're not a cleaner, so you don't have the same clients every week. You work
Right.
with someone, the job gets done, and then they call you next time they need you, right? And so you're constantly needing those new clients. And so I think that alone sets us up as women starting a business, but now also constantly needing those new clients. It sets us up to be extremely stressed out,
Yeah.
especially when you add the social media thing we just talked about. But I think a lot of us get into that survival mode, or we get into those times where, okay, this just isn't working anymore, all the things. And so I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about survival mode in business, because you've been doing this so long. And I know that my ladies will really resonate. And I know because I've been there so many times.
Yeah. So I'll tell you where I sort of come up with this concept of survival mode in business. It's not revolutionary, but on a personal lens, even working with my therapist and realizing where in my personal life survival mode shows up. And it's so common that that will translate over into business sometimes, right? And we don't recognize it. And so as I was personally working through some of that a few years ago, it was very hard to ignore how survival mode shows up with my clients, right? I mean, I only work
Mm-hmm.
well predominantly women, but it's that same sense of like, okay, I've got to get up and I've got to figure out what do I need to do today in order to get a client? What do I need to do today to keep my existing clients happy? What do I need to do today to, market my business and get out there and get in front of new eyes? And it's like every day it's this sense of like, how do I just stay above water? How do I just keep my business afloat and living in constant survival mode? And you've got that lens of someone who's kind of trying to get there, right? The newer person, or the person who's been in business for a couple of years and trying to scale. And then on the other side, you've got the person who's scaled and financially they're in a place most people would dream of, and they're still stuck in survival mode because they cannot extract themselves from the business, right?
Right.
It's the team, it's the systems, it's something or the other. And so their business, basically survival mode is essentially when your business requires your constant presence, right? And I think so many women are stuck in this place. And so, what I would tell your audience here is that if you find yourself, like, you'll know it because you feel it in your gut, where it's like when you're not in the business, you're thinking about the business. When you're
Mm-hmm.
out, you're like, I could, and it's not that like, oh, that's a great idea. Let me write that in my notes app. And I feel so excited by it. It's shit, I got to do this tomorrow and I got to do that tomorrow and I got to pump out that content. And it's like, when you're not working on the business, you're thinking about the business. And there's
Mm-hmm.
really no separation there. And this is not a badge of honor, ladies. This is not a sign that, oh my God, I'm a great businesswoman, or that I love my business. That is not a badge of honor.
Mm-hmm.
It's healthy to have that detachment. It's healthy to be able to walk away and feel and know that when I come back and I sit back at my desk, everything will click back into place. It's not going to fall apart if I'm not there, right? And I think that that is a situation that I'm seeing so many women stuck in. And so my mission is really to help women alleviate that, come out of that completely. Some it takes longer than others because you've been in it for
Mm-hmm.
a while, but it starts with simple things like self trust. It's not simple. I simplified that, but self trust is a big part of it. It starts with systems. There's systems, there's self trust. That's a huge part of it. It's being able to delegate or, take things off your plate that's not needed. It's really being able to understand what your business needs when it needs it versus what you think your business needs, and you're throwing everything into the bucket all at once, right? And sometimes when you are, the saying, you can't see the tree from the forest. When we're
Hmm.
so close, it's that same attachment. When you're so close to it, you cannot see that sometimes. I'll tell you, a lot of my clients come to me and they'll be done like 10 minutes into our call, or an hour after. I'm like, oh my God, I just feel so much lighter. And oh my God, I would have never thought about this way. Oh my gosh, we just solved like 10 problems in 1 hour. Okay, great. For me, it's second nature to me. And it's not like these huge mountains we're like clearing, but because they're in it, so much in it, they can't see it. Right. And so for me, it's very easy. Okay, let's clear that. Let's clear that. Let's delay that. Let's do this way. Let's implement this marketing strategy. Let's X that launch, whatever the thing is. And for
Hmm.
them, it's like this whole weight is lifted. And for me, it's almost like it's plain as day because I'm not in their business every day. You know what I mean?
It's exactly what we do as organizers. We go
Yes,
into people's
yes.
homes. They can't see the clutter. They can't see the forest for the trees. Like, and I literally just recently had a small little reel go kind of viral for me. Like it hit like 25K within a couple of hours. And I was like, ooh,
Good.
awesome. But it literally was me saying, take a photo of your room to see where the clutter is, because our brains can see on a photo what it can't see in person that we're living in because we've become
Yeah,
clutter blind. And
yeah,
it's very similar with business, like, and honestly, that's one of the reasons that I created, like, I have a group coaching community where everyone comes in and every Tuesday we do group coaching and we're all organizers.
yeah,
And I did that because when I was first doing this, like you said, I was by myself. I had no mentorship. And the people I did have as like mentors or that I could talk to, they had never been an organizer. They were maybe just like a business coach, which is great. But
yeah.
it's a little different depending on exactly what you're doing. But I couldn't find support for being specifically a professional organizer. And so having
Yeah.
that group and that community, and like I have an app, we all interact with each other, and exactly what you were saying going into 2026, like it's going to be
Mhm.
built on community and people
Yeah.
being able to be authentic. That is one of the biggest reasons that Pro Organizers Coach is still around, that I'm still going with the podcast, is because of my membership and my
Mhm.
ladies in my membership.
Mhm.
Like to me, I'm showing up for them. I'm there to help them and support them. And I love watching them support one another and, all the things like that community alone, not that specifically, but just in general, having a community is huge when you're in business, because exactly what you said, and having a coach is huge. But if you can't see it, how are you ever going to fix it?
Exactly. And I think which works beautifully for you is that you are so niched, right?
Mhm.
Especially when you have a community that's very niche. Like you can be in a business coaching mastermind, or you can be in a mastermind with other business owners, right? And it's a very different experience than when you're in a group of people that literally speak the same language, have the same
Yes.
exact like challenges in terms of like the specificity of their business and their business niche. And I think it's beautiful that you were able to create that, because I'm sure all of those women, that's like second home to them, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And they and hearing them say that, and like they know they can be vulnerable there, because
Yeah,
I don't like to put it on the podcast. It doesn't go out. I mean, there's a replay vault where I record it, but it's only for the members to go back and
yeah,
watch. It's
yeah,
not for everyone to. And I wanted it to be a safe space that they could be like, hey, okay, I've got this client right now, or I'm trying to do my social media. Like,
yeah,
what should I do? How should I do? Those
yeah,
types
yeah.
of things. And so I think it's been like life changing, honestly. Like it's been an amazing adventure. Speaking of, so you have, is it a book or a podcast?
So it's not a public podcast like this. It's a 6-part series. It's just a private audio series that I created that speaks to a lot of that survival mode, how to get yourself out, how to recognize if you're in it, how to get yourself out of it, how to scale and grow your business from what's going to be beneficial for everyone now in 2026 is how to do that. And again, I created this specifically because there's so many business owners, specifically women in business, that are stuck in this survival mode. And I think the conversation needs to be had about normalizing detaching from all of what social media tells us is normal, right?
Mhm.
It's also like we need to understand and we need to see that success is not defined by an algorithm. Success is not defined by any platform, because one of the things I always say, and not to like hate on social media, right? We know it, we know we need it. I again, it's not about that at all. But you have to realize these platforms, it's their business. It's their business to keep you on their platforms. Their interest in not is not growing your business, right?
Right.
So if you're consuming more than you're creating, you're definitely in survival mode. If you are waking up every morning not sure where your next client is going to come from, and you're running around and you're trying 15 different strategies and listening to 10 different podcasts and doing things that you don't really love doing or you don't really want to do, but you think you have to, you're in survival mode. If you can look at your books and you can see last month I made this amount and I don't know how to replicate that or double that next month, you're in survival mode, right?
Mhm.
Like, so I want to help women get out of that. I want to help women regain their, we started our businesses to feel a sense of freedom, to feel a sense of like, like being proud of what we've created and what we've built for our children, for ourselves, for whatever. And then it sucks when you're in it and you can't feel that. You're not feeling it, right? So I want to get you back to feeling that and get you back to that place of I'm in control and I'm making, like, my philosophy is peace and profit. Peace and profits. Like, you can build an incredibly profitable business. My clients do it all the time, and you can also have a lot of peace in your body and in your life and in your business as a result of it. So,
And that's beautiful. I love that that's your mission. I love that that's the, path that you're on. I will definitely make sure the link is in the show notes in the description for the 6-part podcast series, because I think that's huge. If any of you listening, if you feel like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I feel like I'm in survival mode, go listen to her 6-part series, or come to the community that I have, like, whatever it is that you feel like, hey, just at least try. It doesn't hurt to try. And I think that's for a lot of us. We so like we talked about earlier, we feel like we have to have all the answers before we do anything. But
yeah,
sometimes you have to do the action and take a leap of faith
yeah,
and be like, "Hey, this person could probably help me. Let me
yeah,
see if this is, and if it's not a fit, it's not a fit, fine, go your separate ways." But at least you were open to the possibility. You're never going to get farther being the smartest person in the room. And if you're the only one in the room, you're the smartest person in the room, right?
yeah,
Like, you've got to
100%.
surround yourself with people that have been there, done that, and are trying to help you as a human.
And I just want to add to that. Sometimes just having a conversation with a neutral third party that can see your business from a lens that you cannot see it. Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of the times as coaches and as, like, strategists in my arena, we are the blind spots for our clients, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes it's just, I mean, I've gotten on calls, like consult calls, and I get this all the time, and we'll suggest something or we'll say something and they go implement it and they get results. And they don't have, and it's like, oh, fine, you don't need to hire me. I'm just so glad you got a win.
Mhm.
And then you got some release out of the strategy that, or the thing that was keeping you bogged down. So, like, to your point, it never hurts to have that conversation. And I think it will serve so many women if they were willing to, like you said, you don't have to hold it all. You
Yes.
don't have to hold it all. It's safe to share. It's safe to ask for help. It's safe to get and receive help. We're deserving of that.
Yes, and exactly. We deserve it. We do
Yeah.
so many things in our lives. We're taking care of so many other people. We deserve to have our own help with what it
Mhm.
is that we're trying to do. 1,000,000%. Oh my goodness, this has been such a good convo. Will you please tell everyone like where they can find you on like Instagram, your website, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm Safia Sattaur everywhere. I keep it simple. So you can find me, safiasattaur.com. Website will be updated soon. By the time this launches, website will definitely be renewed. Instagram is probably the place to find me. Quickest, DM me. I always say, just send me a DM. Like, I'm
Mhm.
so quick to just, like, I just love to, it doesn't matter. Just send me a DM. We'll chat right away. I'm not, I don't gatekeep. So just be, hey, I heard you on the podcast. Would love to ask you a question, whatever. I'm an open book. So
I love it. I'm the same way. People all the time, they're like, wait, it's actually you. I'm like, yeah, no, it's actually me.
yeah. Yeah.
When they DM and stuff. I love that. But yeah, thank you so much. And then for those of you listening, go do something for yourself today and definitely subscribe and then come back for the next episode. I appreciate you so much. And thank you, Safia, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. Go to proorganizerscoach.com to find all the ways that we can help you succeed in your business. Remember, you have the power to make a difference in people's lives through decluttering and organization. So keep honing your skills, embracing those challenges, and fostering connections. Girl, you've got this.